In the latest century, we have faced a new wave of health challenges, both on the mental end and the physical end. It is true that with medicine advancements, we are able to cure more and more disease, but our lifestyles, especially in the Western world, has induced new types of problems with which we are facing major challenges, both on the economy scale and on the social scale. One major component of these problems is the food we eat. In fact, it is said that food heals or poisons. Besides air and water, food is the third thing we put into our bodies. So if we fail to take into account what we are putting in our bodies and their impacts on our health, then we will face problems. Yet, food is the thing we can control the most. It is very easy to make healthy decisions. We can decide what to buy and we can decide what to eat. In this video, we will be addressing 6 food habits that are very dangerous to our brain. Hey everyone, and welcome to 360 with Pat. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming video, and if you love the content, click on the like button. As we know, our brain is the main organ into dealing with everything that has to keep us alive, both on the psychological end and on the biological end. Yet without noticing, we might actually be hurting our brain in such a way that we are causing short and long-term bad effects. We might be triggering our brain into disease or simply decline our cognitive abilities, be it on the short term or again on the very long term, especially with the rise of cognitive disease like Alzheimer's disease that's gonna be a real challenge by 2060 with more than 65 million cases projected in North America alone. So let's seize that opportunity to take a look at the top 6 reasons why we might be hurting our brain and what we can do about it right here, right now. Watch until the end so you start right now to take care of your short, medium and long-term brain health. With major advancements in science and healthcare in the past century, we have seen our life expectancy grow dramatically. That's on the good side. On the other side of the coin, we have seen new diseases rise. Obesity has become a problem. High blood pressure has become a problem. Diabetes has become a problem, as well as cognitive problems and mental health issues, anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's, just to name a few. 100 years ago, we used to sleep on average 9 hours per night. Today, the average is 6 hours. Yet in 100 years, our species hasn't got enough time to adapt to that, which results in greater stress over our brains and in greater damage to our brains. And with the advancements of refining and manufacturing, we have seen new food invade the market and new availabilities also with the opening of the whole world. What you eat will affect your brain capacity to handle stress, anxiety, depression, as well as your body and metabolism capacity to handle your body composition. In other words, what you eat can make you healthy, performant, and innovative, or it can contribute to a decline in cognitive function and a whole lot of diseases. Now, before going to your doctors, you should make sure that you are not poisoning yourself, because bad food is as poisonous as real toxins. So let's take a look at the top 6 list of foods we can today stop eating that have very damaging effects on our brains and on our bodies. Number 1 on our list is alcohol consumption. No matter the benefits, no matter how good your 2 glasses of wine in the evening are good for your heart because they contain polyphenols and other plethora of chemicals, alcohol has been shown in the most recent studies to be a brain stem killer. No matter the benefits we might find in the composition of the alcohol we are drinking, on the bigger picture, alcohol is just purely toxic to our brain. It affects its functioning, it affects its chemistry, and it affects its nutrition. It also destroys brain cells and it destroys brain connection. And less brain connections mean a decline in cognitive abilities or difficulty in problem solving, learning, and memory. On the physical side, alcohol increases the risk of heart problems and of obesity. And studies have shown that obesity is actually directly linked to a shrink in brain size. The smaller the brain, the less capacity we can operate on. So if you cannot abolish alcohol from your diet, make sure to consume a minimal amount so you limit the damage caused by it. Number 2 on our list are refined sugars. We can find refined sugars in everything, especially in processed food. Whenever we increase the amount of glucose in our body will release insulin and try to catch that excess and store it in our muscle, liver, or under the form of fat. Yet, excess glucose intake will impair brain function as well as vascular health, and on the other side, it is a main trigger for diabetes, especially the type 2 diabetes. And one of the main reasons of a bad brain health is diabetes. So whenever we consume lots of sugars, even under the form of fruit juice in high quantities, we are doing harm to our brains. Make sure then to limit the amount of sugar you eat in order to have a better health in general and specifically a better brain functioning. Number 3 on our list are highly processed foods. In an age where speed is crucial, we have a tendency to go and buy quick, ready-to-made food. The problem is that they contain so many additives and chemicals for preservation that they become very unhealthy to consume. They are usually very rich in salt and in sugars. The excess of both salt and sugar are very bad to our general health and specifically to our brain. Excess salt causes hypertension, and hypertension affects the health of our brain cells. Whereas, as mentioned in reason number 2, high sugar will cause circulatory problems, spikes in insulin, and diabetes. Avoid highly processed food at all costs. Ready-made food have their advantages, but carry a lot of disadvantages. The cons outweigh the pros. Number 4 on our list is aspartame. While still controversial in their studies, aspartame is a widely used sweetener to replace sugar. Problem with aspartame is that it contains among its composition a molecule of phenylalanine. Phenylalanine has the capacity to cross the brain barrier and go directly and affect our brain functioning. A lot of phenylalanine might cause cognitive problems, and the use of artificial sweeteners has proven to be problematic in some people because it sends a signal to the body that sugar is coming, insulin might be released, and then sugar didn't enter the bloodstream. Thus, we might end up having a crash in glycemia, which also is very bad for brain health. Number 5 deadly food, trans fats. We can find trans fats in a lot of food, both naturally occurring and processed. Meat, for example, might contain a certain amount of trans fat. Natural occurring trans fat are so low that they do not really cause a big problem. But when it comes to processed food, especially pastries and fried food, these kind of food contain lots of trans fats. And trans fat have very bad effect on our body. They put us under oxidative stress. They liberate lots of free radicals, and they are generally very unhealthy both for the heart function, the vascular function, and the brain function too. It is like taking an overload of toxins and poisons and putting them at once in our body just for the sake of a quick, happy shot of dopamine. Dopamine is released when we take feel-good food. And feel-good food often happen to be very unhealthy, especially the ultra-processed food. Like everything you could buy basically at a donuts place, and I'm not going for names and brands. So remember, trans fats are a recipe for disaster to all our bodily function. They encourage obesity, create free radicals, stress our bodies, and destroy our brains on the long term. Now, before we hit number 6 on our list, make sure to watch the next video so you know what food to consume to supercharge your brain. And now for the last on our list, the number 6 bad brain food. Pay attention to high mercury fish consumption. Lots of fish contain high amounts of mercury, and mercury has been shown to be directly toxic to the structure of our brain, to the health of our brain cells. The majority of our fish contain a certain amount of mercury due to different reasons, from pollution to natural activity. And it is true that certain amount of fish contain higher quantities and amounts of mercury compared to others. But as a general rule, fish contain mercury. And mercury affects the very structure of our brains, leading to early decline in cognitive abilities as well as a plethora of other problems. Varieties like skipjack tuna has been shown to contain less amounts of mercury than other varieties, yet it still is very problematic should we eat a large amount of it. As a general rule, we should not consume more than 8 to 10 ounces of fish per week so our body can deal with the mercury ingested. Now that we have listed the 6 most problematic food for our brains, it is time to take action. So next time you go to do your groceries, make sure to keep that list in mind. Go for natural food, opt for cooking, manage your time so you have cooking sessions to plan your week ahead so you do not require to resort to quick processed food for eating. You can start acting right now, and by doing so, you will be doing yourself and especially your brain a favor on the short, medium, long and the very long term. We have the chance today to be able to easily live to around 90 years old. And in the future, we might be living even longer. So let's put all the chances on our side and feed ourselves with healing food instead of toxic food. The quality of your tomorrow will depend on the actions of today. You might want to check these related videos. You can also find me on social media by checking the links I put in the description below. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and remember to turn your notifications on so you don't miss any upcoming video. And until then, stay strong.